Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kalterkrieg as Danubian. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, we have had some troubles in Transylvania where we were able to, unfortunately, get Hasu elected. I'm pretty sure that's entirely my own fault, but they may or may not be collaborating with the Bucharest government, which is not great for us, obviously, because we want to make sure the country doesn't fall apart. And having a government within the country collaborating with the Romanians probably is not great for long-term stability, but for right now, I'm sure we're fine. Hopefully. Upcoming elections in Hungary. The Great Hungarian Plain is a vast, almost utterly flat land, a rich Avulian soil, and vast natural beauty. Waters there are far here, and indeed the springs that cascade out from the earth in Hungary make its capital duly famous. Control for the parliament situated in Budapest is now afoot, as political tensions rise with the temperatures. Hot even for this time of year. A sweltering Hungary looks set to head to the polls, and the political campaigns are swinging into gear in order to convince the people to cast their ballots for the candidate of their choice. If the weather keeps up like this, the campaign promises to be a bad-tempered affair. There are three main parties at the regional level in Hungary. There is the Orzagoso Kinzgazda, the OKGFP, who are in alignment with the Balaton bloc at a federal level. Their leader, Miklos Kale, believes that they have a decent chance of overturning the incumbent government's majority, but will struggle to make those aspirations a reality without federal support. Opposing them are our stalwarts in the SDAPDM, under party leader Arped Swakatsits, who commands a fearsome voting bloc of working-class slums in Hungary. They mobilize a large urban proletariat to vote for them in many cases. The stakes couldn't be higher. The government is Carlo Ramsey's NMP, the National Party of Work. Whilst they're pro-federation, their politics are more involved towards Hungarian nationalist aspirations than with a social liberal bent. So what do we want to do? The NMP will win. No. Let's lend our support to the SDAPDM. How are they actually looking right now? They're at 29%, which is not great. But if we can have like one other government, especially like one like Hungary, it's a big and powerful bloc in the nation. Have them be on our side sounds great. We have 400 political power, so let's press this immediately. So that's not going to happen. So we just need to be the biggest, which, I mean, shouldn't be that hard. Let's run a radio campaign for 45. Kaiser visits Budapest. This won't affect us. So let's have the Kaiser visit Budapest. And we're not going to press anything else, because I have a feeling to mobilize the Donchel-Waven, which I don't really know what that is. Probably is not going to be great. So we're just not going to do anything for right now. We'll have the Kaiser. We'll do the radio. And then we'll ignore everything else, at least for the time being. Turn all of these off. So excellent. Again, if we could just like one government be happy with us, I'd be ecstatic. I mean, not only it's two, Illyria is already social democratic, but I mean Hungary. If you look at, I think ideology here. What is considered Hungary? It's like these states, yeah. So like all of this here, which is a pretty substantial amount of territory. Having them be friendly would be nice. This summer looks like it might be the hottest on record in the Kingdom of Hungary. The Crown Land is sweltering. Temperatures are rising and there's only so much cold beer to go around. And after a while, cold beer doesn't cool tempers but provokes them. Already several political motivated brawls have broken out in Budapest between activists and NMP voters. The NMP government is just as paralyzed by the heat as the rest of the country. And even the local stalwarts of the SDAPDM are reportedly difficult in remaining motivated when canvassing in such a sticky, uncomfortable heat. The temperature looks set to remain steady for a few more days, and there's some debate among the regional party as for the next steps. Do they wait until the heat wave breaks and risk the other party stealing a march on them, or do they brave the beating sun? Let's preserve our energies for the final leg of the campaign, because we got 75 days, which is a pretty long amount of time. Muscat and Oman want some weapons. Central America, again, I'm willing to sell to anybody. If you have $1 in your pocket, by God, there's Austrian weapons waiting for you. The trial and sentencing of Hubert Pilčik. the Beast of Pizan, as the oppressed throughout all of Albania has dubbed him, finished his trial at the Supreme Court of Bohemia in the city of Brno. The case has attracted a fair amount of media attention, and the case was put to the highest level of national authorities immediately upon the revelation of the full extent of his crimes. Facing no chance of appeal and struggling to find a lawyer, the state ultimately had to provide a defense lawyer. The evidence was overwhelming between the association of the Baileys with Pilčik, the fact that Emmanuel Bailey has been identified by his dental records from his charred remains, and of course the testimony of the poor unfortunate girl. The trial was brief too. The judge returned a guilty verdict within 24 hours, and the judge patched down that Pilčik was to be executed by hanging, to be enacted within 7 days. Justice is served. Hey, the heat has broken. Last night, a massive thunderstorm kept most of the country awake as it rolled across the Great Hungarian Plains, leaving cool, fresh air in its wake. The heat wave is broken. The air is softly moist, and the temperature is more bearable now than. But the storm's rain and thunder likely had many of our stalwart activists awake, as well as those of the other parties. The question is not that we campaign, obviously, but rather the intensity of our campaigning. We have the choice to throw all of our energies into it to try and make up lost ground, or we can hope that our opponents are exhausted from their travels in the heat and will want the time to rest. Now we got to go with a vengeance. Okay, Morocco. Hey, okay, Morocco War. The Kingdom of Morocco allows volunteers. Our attaché assigned to blank has reported the Kingdom of Morocco will now allow us to send volunteers to support their war effort. We may now send a limited number of military assets to the embattled region in order to secure our own geopolitical interests therein. While this is not a formal military alliance, the Kingdom of Morocco will certainly be grateful for our assistance. Now we only need to decide who will lead the expedition and with what assets. Okay, so I'm going to send Blue Army in here. How many troops can I send to the kingdom? We can send 1. And 1 air wing, okay. So what we want to do is I want to send somebody quick. How fast do you guys actually travel? 10.9 kilometers. Holy. Okay. Edward. We are going to send you to the Kingdom of Morocco. We're going to send plane division as well. And what type of plane shall we send? Well, I mean, probably close air support. You're extremely good. Okay, excellent. You have 1,600 planes in Casablanca? That is, okay, that's a massive airfield. Well, what we need to do is when our volunteers arrive, because when we play as Germany, we had this exact same situation as well. When our troops arrive in Casablanca, they need to go straight down to Marrakesh, which I believe is going to instantly, on day 1, win the war. Okay, Conservatives have won the 1950 election in the UK. Alaska will remain part of Canada, which I think makes more sense. And the SDAPDM seizes the initiative. Our hard work on the campaign trail with our fresh face and well-motivated activists has repaid dividends. We barely saw the other parties canvassing, and our strategy of waiting for the storm to break, the heat wave appears to have given us the edge that we needed to seize the initiative in this election. Because the conservation on the doorstep is reportedly around the talking points that the SDAPDM are brought up, and we've managed to make sure our program is widely known across the country. The other parties will be smarting, as the events for our campaign are now talked up in the newspapers, but generally positive editorial coverage, even grudgingly in the case of some of our opposition publications. This is not necessarily the end of the campaign, but we've managed to capture the media attention in our favor. 37, oh my lord. And the Kaiser has visited Budapest. Whilst the Imperial Office is above such things as political endorsements, Kaiser Otto is happy to accept the invitation to Budapest at behest of the SDAPDM. The Kaiser received a parade of the Hungarian Landstrom in Buda Castle, visited the Snishel thermal baths to take the waters there with his family, and then have dinner with Arpad Skakatits and associates at the nearby legendary restaurant Gundel. Arming soldiers with the Kaiser and with the Yellow Press photographers in attendance, there's several photographs of the Kaiser having a good time with Arpad Skakatits in shot, and several of them shaking hands at the end of the meal. The publication of images in the press provides an idea that the Kaiser has implicitly supported Arpad. Either nothing is alleged or confirmed by either party. We can use this. Excellent, excellent. And our troops will arrive in Morocco on the 25th, so a few more days from now. And California calling. It's a mystery. Nobody knows what's going on in California right now. We will look. We are not a German lackey. We don't need to listen to everything that Germany says, okay? We can pursue a more open diplomacy, and we will open up emissions to Pacific states, right? Like, I'm willing to support the Reichspakt in Morocco. We were willing to support the Reichspakt in China, but that does not mean that the Reichspakt determines what we do as Danubians. We are a free people. Not listening, not beholden to the whims of Berlin. All the times, only a handful of the times. Germany has extended an invitation to Middle Europa. The German Empire has quarterly offered an invitation to Middle Europa to Danubia on very good terms. The offer is not time limited and would be something that any Danubian government would not be against in principle. Some grumble and mutter about tying our successful economy to the fate of the German economic bloc. Others point out that our largest trading partner is Middle Europa already, and it makes sense to be on the inside of the room when the rules are being made. We'll have to ratify this with the Crown Land before we can proceed. So my guess is that we need this. A majority of these members have to be supportive of us if we want to join Middle Europa, which I don't know where that is exactly. Campaigning, elections. Is it a focus maybe? Would it be under here somewhere? Yeah, that's for the nuclear program, which I do kind of want to get going as well. At the Middle Europa question. Does not have Sharp, does not have Bros, does not have Klethi. Gets a event, requests on national diets. Making the effort to court the leadership of the Diet, we convince the party to vote for us on this in 60 days. Okay, so that's we can do that whenever. It does not have to be a right now thing. But we need to not like this. We need to counter into Marrakesh. It's 567 defense. I didn't know you had it in you, Morocco. I didn't know you had it in you. But if we can push you out, and the radio campaign concludes. Our political adverts have filled the airways for over a month now. Given a number of radios owned in Hungary, we've estimated that over 95% of the population heard at least one political advertisement of the SDA-PDM. By communicating our program in neat, bite-sized chunks, we managed to steer the political conversation in the direction that we wanted to go, with the other party scrambling to the airways later than us in order to try to present counter-arguments. We've broken political ground here. There's no doubt about it. And it shows the SDA-PDM has a technological forward-thinking party too. Excellent. So no matter what, we should win. We are by far the most popular. We're only at 46. We're not at a majority. Does it have... no matter what... I will do it a second time. We're already so far in the lead. I'm feeling pretty okay with this. And educating the regional diets. If we are to introduce the personal principle, we must ensure that our politicians in the region understand it, that they can explain it, argue for it, fight counter-arguments against it, and that they can debate it in a watertight manner. Messing with the fabric of the nation is not undertaken lightly, but this is a structural reform that Minister-President Renner has been working on for almost as long as he's been in politics. His understanding of our nation is colored by this ideal, and our regional leaders must be able to persuade their opponents that even in the event that they disagree with the implementation or specifics, the grand idea has its own merit. We are going to change the course of history with this reform. It must be understood from the lowest activists in the most remote region all the way to the minister-president in Vienna, the intermediate step between the remote yokel and the master of Danubia's fate in the regional diet member set in his crown land seat. He or she must understand exactly how their nation within the state is to be affected by it, how their nationality will stand the benefit, and how representation of those who live alongside it, them, have but none, if not a loss, but a gain for themselves and their neighbors. Lofty goals. Let us change the river's flow. We cannot do you quite yet. Has the event Institute von Mrs. Commission. Where even is this? Oh, it's you. Okay, so we need to actually get this done soon. I think we can go, like, we can take you. Oh, no, we need all of these to go up further. Okay, well then let's get the commission first. And then we'll start working with the Balaton block a little bit more. Okay, here comes the Entente. Unfortunate. But it is what it is. We'll go for anti-tank weapons here. We might need to fall back to Marrakesh again. But it's not that bad. All of the Reichspacks over here, they sent in their extra reinforcements. And Morocco, they're both like halfway dead. Okay, cool. But we can hold the Marrakesh. It is a mountain province, so like we should be pretty good to hold it. Not necessarily indefinitely, but for a very, very, very long time. We should be good there. Production is still looking great. Manpower... I don't think manpower's low. I don't know what you're talking about, game. But our reinforcements have now arrived. You are worth 3. They have no more cities in the south. So you know what we need to do? We need to go and take Teotihuacan, which is definitely not how you say this, but that's how I'm going to say it. We're going to go take the city. We will counter you. Okay, again, our planes are still in the air. Okay, we've taken the city. They have Ojia over here worth 1 point. You're worth 1 point. They're getting closer. Okay. We need you to go to Ujia. As long as they don't lose Marrakesh. The Marrakesh? Yeah, as long as they don't lose Marrakesh, we should be okay to secure our position in Africa. Can one of you just move to the city? Like, I understand that you don't really know what's ever happening. Like, I feel like even you should understand the basics that victory points are good. Please take them. When the opportunity arises, please take them. Are there any other places? What do they need to actually collapse at? 20%? Okay, well, we'll just kind of capture random provinces here. But that does lower their score. Even if not by, like, a ton. Where are you guys going? Hey! The Royalists have won in Morocco. And there we go. See, you just gotta capture a handful of provinces. And everything is wonderful. Mountaineering Division, you guys can go in the Blue Army. Are we capped at this? Yes. Okay, so we should actually be spending it. Go offensive doctrine for our boy here. Ah, sure, you can be Panzer expert. If we ever go into like a war, we can reassign all these guys. It's not that big of a deal. Go combine arms. You guys can go for another offensive, and then another Panzer expert. And you know what? Even go for an organization first. So actually, if anything, we should get our boy here, Alfred. If we ever need a tank division, a tank commander, we know who to call up. So next up, let's begin state development and the formation of the von Mises Commission. The economists of the Austrian school have had some success in academic circles and have written several documents on the subject of deregulating and liberalizing the markets both globally and within the Danubian Federation. Their ideas, as well as the current economic success of the country, means that they have an opportunity for them to provide guidance and insight on the distribution of the financial surplus in the federal budget. Okay. Or support for the market liberals, 10 political power, which I'll be honest, didn't really need, but I do appreciate it. Invest in Lombardy. Yes. I mean, Lombardy, this is investing in Italy. And, you know, I have so much points, and I have so many factories. Fuck it. Let's just invest everywhere. It's going to take about a year. But we get, like, what? We get, like, 2 political power per day? 2.23. My God. Okay, PSF has won the French election. Is that the Social Democrats? No, they're the Social Conservatives. Our volunteers arrive back home. Excellent. I mean, things I want to say are looking pretty good. I'm really happy with where we're currently at right now. Like, we're rich. We have a lot of global influence. We're determining the outcome of German wars. And a poor harvest. Okay, now it's not as great. But a poor harvest in Vyshnya, Galicia. Due to a series of heavy storms and an early cold snap, it looks like the harvest this year in Galicia will be one of the worst since before the war. The regional government has put aside some funds for the scenario, but no doubt this will trigger some movement of people off of the land and into the cities in order to escape the threat of starvation. An agrarian area with unfortunately poor soil, one bad harvest can really provoke turmoil in the region. There is not much danger of mass unemployment, as the oil industry in Galicia has always stand more drill workers. But the pressure of housing in the cities and the rising of food prices due to the goods needing to be imported from Hungary will create some discontent and instability in the Crown Land. But I will say with that, I think like it seems like a good point for me right now to end this episode here. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoy, you can always thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.